In preparation for the Thunderbolts movie, I rewatched Black Widow, an MCU film that I have no personal attachment to whatsoever, but I found to be an entertaining watch. There's a bunch of dark topics that this film tackled, like childhood trauma, human trafficking, and the overarching abuse of power. All of these were well handled up until the film became your typical superhero fanfare in the final act. This movie worked best as an examination of Natasha and Yelena's characters, both subjugated to the Red Room at a very young age, experienced trauma and abuse in the hands of evil people, and tried to claim their freedom. The two had amazing chemistry, and this film wouldn't have worked without them. Yelena especially, played by Florence Pugh, stole the entire movie for me. She had the best jokes, and she owned the best scene of the entire thing. She's just great in this. Natasha was given an interesting inner conflict here, and the movie did justice to her character, even if it felt inconsequential since she died in Endgame. I also liked the action here, when it's all grounded in scale. But what I don't like was the entire final act, when the film quickly fell apart. These characters were already prepared and well equipped from the start, so the tension was non-existent. The pacing of the entire thing doesn't flow really well, and it just followed a typical Marvel template. It started as a very grounded film with characters having relatable struggles, and then turned into a battle to stop a world-ending threat filled with CGI and explosions. I think there are films that worked even if it had the structure like Shang-Chi, but Black Widow doesn't. The film tried to cover up Alexei and Melina with this very cutesy relationship stuff, but the more you think about it, the more you realize that these two were evil as fuck. It doesn't help that the film ignored that aspect. Instead of properly addressing that issue by showing their regrets or fears, this film only had a quick talk for forgiveness, and in the end it just doesn't feel earned. The humor worked in some areas, but there were times where it has that Marvel brand of humor that breaks attention and it was not even funny. And of course, the villains. Dreykov, even though he's only a weak and pathetic evil mastermind, had the menace. But just like I said before, that tension was broken since Natasha already knew about the pheromone stuff and it was all acting. Taskmaster, while giving Natasha an interesting inner conflict, doesn't really feel menacing and compelling. And their final battle sucked. Overall, this was a fine film. On rewatch, I realize all its flaws, but at the same time, I do think this was one of the more entertaining films of the entire multiverse saga.